joining us today. We ask that to start the event, you will all join me in a moment of silence to remember the fallen, prisoners of war, and those missing in action, and honor those who have served and are serving this great nation's armed services. Please stand while the scouts from Andover Pack 124 post the colors. Color guard, post the colors.
Yep.
Please remain standing for the singing of the national anthem by Trooper Sebastian Messi and the Pledge of Allegiance led by the Scouts of Pack 120.
So we're going to say the Pledge of Allegiance. Ready?
By the dawn's early light, what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleam, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still gone. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
Right, you guys. We're going to do the Pledge of Allegiance. Ready? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, liberty, and justice for all.
Thank you all for joining us here today. This year, across the country, at more than 4,909 participating locations nationwide, with the help of 7,566 sponsorship groups, 3 million veterans will be honored. Of these, 784 are new locations this year. 3 of those are our cemeteries here in Andover: the Old Burial Ground, the First Congregational Church Cemetery, and Townsend Cemetery. Today, there are millions of Americans gathering safely as one nation to remember, honor, and teach. We are all proud to be Americans that live in a free society made up of many people from many walks of life. The freedoms we enjoy today have not come without a price. Lying in cemeteries throughout this nation are men and women who gave their lives so that we can live in freedom and without fear. We can worship as we see fit, We can raise our children to believe as we do. We are free to vote for the leaders of our choosing. We have the right to succeed, and we have the right to fail at whatever endeavor we wish to pursue. The United States of America was founded on the ideals of freedom, justice, and equality. Our nation stands as a shining beacon of liberty and freedom to the world. We thank those who gave their lives to keep us free, and we shall not forget you. We shall remember. Today, more than ever, we reflect on our nation's veterans and active duty service members who have had and continue to fight to protect the innocent and oppressed. This nation has always been the first to stand up for the freedom of people from around the world. Many of you here today have answered that call and served your country well. For this, we say thank you, and we are honored to know you. There are many men and women serving today in all branches of the military, here, at home, and in places far away that most of us have never heard of. These men and women are part of the best trained, best equipped force in the world. We honor them and their families for the sacrifices they make each day to keep our country safe from terrorism, hatred, and injustice. Quoting our 40th United States President, Ronald Reagan, freedom is never more than one generation away from extinction. We didn't pass it to our children, or the luxury telling our children and our children's children what it once was like in the United States, where men were free. Today we show a united front of gratitude and respect across the United States of America as we remember the fallen, honor those who serve and their families, and teach the next generation the value of freedom. Now, John Body will lay a veteran's wreath in memory of those who served and are serving in the United States Army. Now, Brad Kelly will lay a veteran's wreath in memory of those who served and are serving in the United States Marine Corps. Now, Ken Lee will lay a veteran's wreath in memory of those who served and are serving in the United States Navy.
Turn around, don't go backwards.
Now, Christina DeBacco will lay a veteran's wreath in memory of those who served and are serving in the United States Air Force.
Go on. Thanks.
Now, Patrick Dougherty will lay a veteran's wreath in honor of those serving in the United States Space Force. Now, Joseph Godwin will now lay a wreath in memory of those who served in the Coast Guard. Now John McCall will lay the wreath in memory of those who served and are serving the United States Merchant Marines. Now, George Kitchen will lay a veteran's wreath in honor of the 93,129 United States servicemen from all branches of the service whose last known status was either prisoners of war or missing in action. These individuals have never returned to their families and homes. We shall not forget you. We encourage every volunteer here today who places a wreath on a veteran's grave to say that veteran's name aloud and take a moment to thank them for their service to our country. It's a small act that goes a long way toward keeping the memory of our veterans alive. To quote Ernest Hemingway, every man has two deaths, when he is buried in the ground and the last time someone says his name. In some ways, men can be immortal. Remember, we are not here today to decorate graves. We are here to remember not their deaths, but their lives. Each wreath is a gift of appreciation from a grateful nation. These live balsam fir wreaths symbolize our honor to those who have served and are serving in the armed forces of our great nation, and to their families who endure sacrifices every day on our behalf. To our children, we want you to understand that the freedoms you enjoy today have not been free, but have come with a cost that someday you may have to bear yourself. As a nation standing together, we can defeat terrorism, hatred, and injustice. Thanks to our veterans, we have the freedom to do just that. We would like to welcome State Representative Stephen Weir and Congressman Joe Courtney, who would like to share a few words.
Good afternoon, everyone, and I'll be very brief, but I just want to say, as someone who represents a pretty big part of Connecticut with over 63 towns, it's really exciting to see Andover for the first time participate in this event. There's not that many, but again, it says a lot about the community, the veteran service organizations that are represented here. This is the perfect spot. I think we all remember well Jerry Wright's, persistent, vision to create this spot. And what's so wonderful about it is that, again, thousands of cars pass it every day, and to have it now part of the Wreaths Across America with a almost Hollywood setting here is just, like I said, it says a lot about the people in the town of Andover. As a member of the House Armed Services Committee, we get information from staff. There's about 300,000 service members overseas today. Some are serving and their families are with them, but most of them don't. And having the Christmas season recognized by the Wreath Across America, I think is, again, a way of saying thank you. And again, this was something that started almost spontaneously at grassroots up in Maine. It was a tree farm that had some extra wreaths and sent them down to Arlington National Cemetery, and that was back in the 1990s. And it's now, as Ian said, thousands and thousands of communities, as well as the National Cemetery that's part of this. So congratulations, as I said again, to everyone from town here for stepping up and making this now a part of your town's annual holiday observations. And I'll yield the floor now to Steve Weir, as we say in Washington.
I will keep it brief too, but it is great to see so many people taking times out of your busy day to honor this great event. I'm honored to have the opportunity to say a few words. Wreaths Across America, their year-long mission is to remember the fallen, honor those who serve, and teach the children the value of freedom. I served as a police officer, but never in the armed services, and it is one of the very few regrets that I have. And this is the opportunity to pay thank you to the sacrifice made by those serving at home and abroad. As an adult, I greatly appreciate the freedoms that we have, and I certainly took them for granted as a young person, so I think the initiative of involving our youth and having them understand the value of the freedom, it may not make sense today, but as you get older, I think we all appreciate the freedoms that we have, the freedom of speech, freedom of religion, freedom to come and go as we please, and oftentimes we have it so good that we take that freedom and those freedoms for granted. I took a look at this year's theme and purpose. This theme is Live with Purpose. And I think it's a great reminder on the impact that we can have on one another, that we can be called to action out of adversity and play an important role in our communities. I think of a quote, this is not by an American, but Winston Churchill, who said many years ago that if you're going through hell, keep going. And I think that same spirit can be a launching point for every one of us to provide valuable service in times of adversity to our communities. So it's a way to take that adversity and channel it into meaningful energy. So thank you all for being here. Thank you very much.
Please stand, we're all standing anyway, for the playing of Tax by Jack Dougherty, followed by the retiring of the colors.
Hello, my name is Susan Camerota. Me and a few others from town organized this event today. Again, thank you all for coming. I want to thank the core group of volunteers, Celine Murray, who is a core location coordinator, Michelle Lorenz, who was our scout leader, and she brought her scouts, Patty Billings with the Townsend Cemetery, Jesse and Nikki Person, Roberta and Patrick Doherty, whose son Jack just played taps, Heather Johnson, Gary Britton, John Body, and of course, Carol Lee. The entire town who rose to the challenge and sponsored, who rose to the challenge and sponsored over 150 wreaths, required to post one at each of the graves in Arlington and Andover. To all the WA volunteers here that are going to go out and lay the wreaths at the cemeteries, thank you very much for being here today. Before you get started, there are some items to be brought to your attention to make your experience even better. Please review the instructions on the last page of your program. Each wreath you'll be placing is handmade and unique. They are made of balsam fir grown in the Down East region of Maine, USA with pride. Some of the needles do become detached during the making, packing, and transportation of the wreaths. Please keep in mind that every wreath has tens of thousands of needles, and it is normal for this to happen. Because the wreaths are packed tightly in boxes, it will take 2 to 3 hours for them to fully relax in their natural circular shape. Before placing a wreath on a headstone, take a minute to refluff the greens the best you can and rearrange the bow. When the wreath is finally laid at the headstone, please make sure the bow is at the 12 o'clock position. It is important to have that intimate moment with the hero you're honoring, but please remember to take a step back and look at the complete picture of what all of us have accomplished through the mission to remember, honor, and teach. We have about 40 wreaths to lay at the church, about 30 at the old burial ground, and about 100 at Townsend Cemetery. Please go to the location of your choice and have fun. Thank you for participating in this important event. And then finally, when you are done, please join us at the Town Hall Community Room for some coffee, hot chocolate, and treats. Thank you.